It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here with Mano.
New Mano.
Kim Osorio.
Kim O.
By the way, Kim, as we get into this UT, is featured on this documentary on Peacock that's about Diddy. It's called The Making of a Bad Boy.
Yes.
It came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is one that people have been talking about because Albie Shore is on here speaking out. Kim, tell me what you thought about this process and the finished product.
I thought they did a good job with the doc. I mean, there are so many docs in development right now on this, right? It's a story that everybody wants to hear about. So I was intrigued. There were a lot of things in there that I found out that I didn't know. Let me just say, I was speaking as a journalist on the culture, like I do. So,
right.
you know.
You've been reporting on things.
I've been doing
Let's not
this.
forget, she editor-in-chief of The Source, first woman ever to do that, but also a journalist throughout. I've known you as a journalist since we both started out.
Right, and that's how I was speaking. I think people, this is a real sensitive issue in the community. So I think when people see it, they're like, oh, what are you doing on this?
It's like, not gossip, it's journalism.
I'm actually just speaking about a very big story and, you know, that we're all covering.
All right, well, Albie Shore is speaking on here, and he talked about how Diddy, you know, Albie Shore used to date Kim Porter. They have a son, Quincy, together. Yes. And then people are know that Diddy raised Quincy.
Right.
It was even rumors that he adopted him, right? And here is what Albie Shore had to say about Kim Porter meeting Diddy.
At one point, I was working on Casey and JoJo on one of the soundtracks, and Sean came by the studio. I believe he may have been with Misa, and I was in the studio with Kimberly, and we had the baby with us at that point. He walked into the studio, and he looked over, and he saw this really beautiful girl, and she was holding this really beautiful baby. And he said, hey, I wish I had a beautiful girl like that.
The whole staff watched it happen, and Sean had no shame in his aggression towards Kim.
All right, and he also said it was guy code, like, you don't go after your homeboy's woman.
That obviously wasn't his homeboy.
Right.
And he didn't respect him.
Clearly it wasn't. We know that now.
He took his chick.
In retrospect.
So?
And then he also had this to say about his son, Quincy, who, like we just said earlier, people look at it like Diddy adopted Quincy. Here's what he said.
There's no adoption. There's no letter to my father and all that. All crafted by a publicist. And if you haven't noticed, his name is still Brown. People thought I was absent, things of that nature. It was basically instructed by Kimberly. I was told that Puffy wasn't too happy about anyone who had a relationship with Kimberly. I was very much under, listen, you promise on our son's life, just stay out of the way, don't do this, don't get involved. Being told, please, don't do that tough guy Mount Vernon, you will get killed.
Oh my God.
And I know that he does feel like the coma that he was in previously could potentially have been.
He didn't want to go back, you're saying?
What?
He didn't want to go back to that coma?
Well, he's saying potentially it could have been, due to this.
Oh, he's saying that.
Yeah, and he's not the only person that said that. People speculate
what was he diagnosed with that ended him in a coma?
I don't know. I mean, listen, there's a lot of different theories. I don't want to misspeak about what actually.
Got it. But he let somebody take his son.
I think from what he's saying, and I want to understand this properly, is that Kim Porter felt like she was in danger and that he was in danger.
Right.
And basically was like, look, I'm just asking you to please just stay out the way. And he also did say, and he said this to me personally, that he and Quincy did have a relationship. It just wasn't public because Puff would have been, who knows.
He allowed that.
I mean.
Every situation is different.
Yeah, I can't speak on what that man's situation is. But and Kim, have you ever had to beg a guy like, please, I'm just begging you from me, for our family, like just X, Y, and Z, just do this, and I don't know what
you can't come around, and you can't come around our son because my new guy is gonna hurt you and me.
Well, I would never do that to my kids, but we don't know what the situation was.
So scary.
It's just hard because Kim Porter's not here to tell her side, so we can't speculate.
But he's definitely telling his
really
side
happened.
now, though, right?
I mean, he's allowed to do that.
Absolutely. But
all right, well, that is your YT. When we come back, Mano, I know you've had a lot of things you want to express today, and you've been in the news a lot lately.
No, I'm just saying, nobody's stealing my son.
Let's talk about it. It's Way Up.
Way up.